Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to our new community conversation this week. I am with Erik Ritter. Welcome. Thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
So, Erik, what is your job profession? What do you do?
Well, I wear many hats,
Okay.
but I usually say I'm an artist first, a musician second, and then the list grows after that, actually. But I do maintenance at my place hotels.
Okay.
I also teach here.
Yes, that's right. Erik is teaching five classes for us. I had to write them down there. So it's amazing for us here at the Arts Council. So I'd say, like, for most artists, I feel like it's never just one thing, right? Like, there's a multitude of things that you're doing within your art field in and of itself.
Yes.
And whatnot, so.
The side hustle, as
There
they
you
call
go.
it.
So what's your background?
Right, so I got my MFA from the San Francisco Art Institute in
Okay.
1994. Graduated here with a bachelor's in general art in 91. And then I was in the cities for 20 years.
Sure.
Taught higher ed, taught English comp, intro to film, humanities.
Okay.
Also had my own painting business on the side, so again, side hustles.
Yeah.
Yeah, on and on.
Are you a South Dakotan? Like, are you born in South
Yeah,
Dakota?
so I grew up here and then moved to the cities in 2000, I think it was, yeah. I was there for quite a while and then just moved back here in May.
Nice. Well, welcome back to Brookings.
Yeah.
So with that, what inspired you to go into art? And if you can't see it, we'll make sure we take a photo. These are two of Erik's pieces right here behind us. Mm-hmm. So what inspired you in the beginning to say, I want to be an artist?
I can remember even being 4 years old and my grandma and grandpa gave me markers.
Okay.
And I was drawing these scenes of pirate ships and these pirates battling each other. And I later put together that it was very similar to the aesthetically to some of these designs.
Okay.
If you look at the picture, if you can see, there's strings that go across. And in the pirate ship battles, when I was little, they would be swinging from ropes, from masts and things like that. And, so I always just say that's from that point on, I was the artist guy, and I just kept doing it.
And who do you look to now for inspiration when you're creating pieces? Because you have, coming up, Erik is going to be at the Art Guild at the South Dakota Art Museum next week on Tuesday. Mm-hmm. But you also have a show coming up in, is it Sioux Falls coming soon?
Lots of stuff going on.
Okay, so the Art Guild.
Yep, Art Guild from 10 to 11:30.
Okay.
And that's going to be about 45 minutes of me talking about my artwork, and then a small kind of workshop. If you want to make some of this found object type of art, people can do that. They can bring their own stuff. There will also be some stuff there.
And this is free, open to the public, so anybody's welcome to come and join.
Yeah, and it's going to be a big because we've got some people coming from Flandreau, from what I hear, and then I just recently am also visiting artist at the college. That just happened in the last week.
Oh, nice. Congrats.
Thanks. So I'm helping them with the drawing class. Okay. So my drawing class will be coming. So there'll be another 20 or so people.
The guild in and of itself is, I think, 75, 90. So it'll be an amazing group there. So,
yeah, that'll be fun. So I got to work on my jokes.
Work on how to talk to our art enthusiasts there. So.
Yes.
So besides the Art Guild, what else do you have going on?
Right, so then in May at Vishnu Bunny, tattoo shop in Sioux Falls. I'll be there for a month. Okay. And also be playing music for the first Friday at the show. So I'm busy putting work together for that. And hopefully the Art Guild presentation is going to be the first stop of trying to get on the TED Talk for Sioux Falls.
Sure.
So I want to try and do that. And also got the podcast coming out.
Nice. What's your podcast called?
I'm still working on that.
Okay.
Erik Ritter Arts and Culture right now, but
Okay.
we got to think of something a little more snazzy. I may go back to the brand of Dejunked. I don't know,
Okay.
something like that.
I wanted one called Who Arted. That's the podcast I wanted, but it's already taken.
I was just gonna say, I think I've seen it.
I was surprised. No, I wasn't. That's a catchy name. So.
Yeah.
But so what do you look for now when you're preparing for like your show in Sioux Falls or the Art Guild, and you're looking to produce pieces that are more than just like the one piece? Who do you look for for inspiration? What do you look into for that?
Right. So inspiration comes from everywhere. So the found object stuff, I can see a piece on the ground, and if it catches my eye, I literally kind of have to, like, I've made this rule to myself, like, oh, that just became art, so then I have to bend over and pick it up. But, you know, a part of a song can be inspiration,
Sure.
Seeing someone walk down the street, Kirby Puckett, Star Wars, Louise Nevelson, Jackson Pollock,
Sure.
Blade Runner, just the list goes on and on and on.
Okay.
And that I think that relates to this idea of kind of assemblage and cut and paste. So the stuff I'm working on towards now is going to be even more kind of multimedia,
Okay.
dense. I'm hoping to put sound and some video and some drawing.
Okay.
And I did start to experiment with that a little bit in Minneapolis.
And so when you're creating these, process-wise, is it just, do you go through multiple steps to find out where you think that piece fits, or do you have like it in your eye, like in your mind before you lay it down on how you want to lay this out?
It will happen a few different ways. It usually starts flat.
Okay.
This actually started as 3 mid-sized pieces, like pieces that were a little bit bigger than this.
Okay.
And then as I was working on them, because if I'm doing the smaller pieces, I'll work on several at once.
Okay.
And then they all kind of just started to look like they wanted to be together.
Sure.
And something that's what artists will do. They'll look at the artwork, and the artwork you'll have a kind of a dialogue with
Sure.
it. So they decided that they wanted to become one.
Sure.
So I let that happen. Then it becomes a process of putting it on the wall, seeing what's working aesthetically, bringing it back down. I work with the natural color of the shapes first,
Okay.
because sometimes I want to just use that.
Sure, like this one down here.
Yeah, this one has a mix of both.
Okay.
But if you
Oh, I see, because the white one you've painted, but then
Yeah.
you've mixed in different colors and whatnot from the other ones.
Yeah, so that's one kind of style, so to speak. Then there's the monochromatic, and then there's the natural color.
Sure.
And so I always try to do the natural color first, but if I get frustrated and it's just not working, then I just gotta punt, and then it becomes option B or C.
Sure. Well, and I'll make sure I take some photos of it, but when you look at it, you see all these things here, like, I did notice the first time, like, there's an army man down here.
Mm-hmm.
And what's this piece right here? It looks like a bell, no, it's like an ornament or something, right?
Yeah, and some of these, just from stuff that people have given me or picked
Sure.
up, I don't even know what it is.
Well, and I just noticed a dinosaur this time too, so.
Yep, we have kids, so the plethora of plastic garbage just piles up, as everyone knows.
Would you say that your style now that you're more creatively into more of the recycled, dejunked kind of art is your aesthetic now that you're working towards? I know that you're teaching more classes for us. Because
Right.
so Erik's teaching like a still life drawing class, but also painting classes. Do you feel as professionally when you're putting things out there now, it's more this style than anything else?
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of what I'm known for.
Sure.
Like, these are the pieces that have gone to Chicago and San Francisco and New York a little bit. And these are the ones that get into the shows.
Sure.
But also it's more and more I'm more attached to this type of working because there's so much more freedom to it.
Sure.
It's not the size of the paper or the canvas or it doesn't have to be on the floor, or it doesn't have to be on the wall. It can be somewhere in between, and it can also be drawing if I want. And so just so many more options.
Well, and you're talking about expanding to different medias. I mean, that puts a new level on it too, because then you're talking about doing not only this, but then interactive and the digital component of it, and
Yes.
kind of even expands it even more or whatnot. So
Yeah, I'm very interested in that idea of interactive. That's the piece that I have a piece at a cafe in Minneapolis, a vegan cafe.
okay,
I'm also very into being vegan. And that piece is actually meant to be interactive. And there are pieces that, there's several magnets all across it. And you're actually asked to pull these colored squares or shapes and then
Sure.
adjust them however you want across the piece. So you become part of the process, so to speak. And
do you feel like you see a lot more of that now in the art community, where there's more
I think you do. I think
interaction, more multimedia, more things like that?
definitely more multimedia, and this idea that you're being immersed
Right.
in an environment is very big.
I feel like the shows that we go to and when we travel and stuff like that, there's definitely some sort of technology component to it somewhere. Whether it's sort of an interactive, like how you read about the artist and their process and stuff like that, or just the piece itself, like you're talking about, just it's kind of moved. And we're still, don't get me wrong, there's still traditional art out there.
Sure.
There's painting and all the drawing and all that. But I see more and more of that when we go places and visit. And very interesting, that's the trend.
That's and that pretty much goes hand in hand with any kind of creative thing that's happened in the last 200 years. So with the invention of film, then you get Leni Riefenstahl, and she creates these incredible ways to use the camera.
Sure.
We'll put her politics aside for a little bit. But also Jimi Hendrix gets a fuzz pedal.
Sure.
And then, you hear the Star Spangled Banner in a new way that you've never heard before.
Yeah.
And now my big thing is that with computers, we're able to put together all these different images and sounds and getting these mashups like never before. And that's something that I'm currently working towards with a new manifesto.
Okay.
And I'm hoping to share that at the Art Guild on Tuesday as well.
So speaking of manifesto-ish stuff, what advice would you give someone who wanted to either be an artist or get into the art field? Like, what would you
Don't
say?
do it. Lots of different things. The first thing that comes to mind is embrace commerce.
Okay.
If you want to be a professional artist, then you've got to sell artwork.
Right.
So you got to figure out what that means, what the value of art is to people.
Sure.
Then there's other avenues such as teaching, and what value art brings to you. So, like for me, I've always just done art, and it was always about that just making my life better.
Sure.
Just giving me a reason to get up in the morning, and interact with the world. I didn't really kind of chose me in a little bit of a way. Yeah.
I would say, like, for most artists that we talk to, it's not, they don't do just one thing. And their advice is always that, and it goes with musicians and artists and teachers. Ooh, we lost it.
We lost
a
another
piece on the humidity here is kind of crazy at the Arts Council. But it's just, even when I was talking to Mark, when he was talking to his students at the university, it's that don't think of it, well, I have to be an artist and like that's all I can do. Like he talked about just being a teacher or an educator or finding other things to do in the art field while still being able to create all the things that you love to do and being able to do what makes you happy and whatnot. Just because if we're realistic, like it's really hard to make a living just selling
It is.
art. It
Yeah.
can be done, so don't get me wrong.
Right. And that's also like, where is really the nature of the question? So, and in some ways, everyone is an artist already.
I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, it can be as simple as when you get up in the morning, you make these choices about what you're going to wear, and there's ideas about color, about texture, about presentation. I mean, that's an art form in itself. So, as far as I'm concerned, everyone's an artist, and then.
Well, and I do think everyone is an artist. I think everyone is creative. It's just in their own way. Whether it's mathematics, because there's an art in all that, in the sciences as well.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's music or painting or poetry or literature. I mean, we're all, like I always hate when people call and they say, well, I don't want to take an art class because I'm not an artist. Well, you don't have to be good at it to enjoy doing that kind of thing. You can still enjoy being creative.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really kind of the fundamental thing of what an artist is someone who enjoys creating. So, absolutely, I agree.
Yeah, that's why I like teaching the classes here, because you get a hold of people that aren't necessarily artists.
Right.
And they come in and they're almost always, we exceed expectation, and they're really had a great time trying to make something.
Well, and I think people are sometimes afraid to try stuff like that just because they are thinking that it's not professional level art.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be. It can be just something that you enjoy doing, whether it's just an activity of painting or learning to play an instrument. You don't have to be great at it. You just have to enjoy creating that kind of activity. Absolutely. So besides all these things that you're doing, whether the shows and everything, what do you do for fun outside of creating art? And it's okay to say creating art, because I feel like that's obviously one of the things.
Yeah, I watch. I go up and down with movies and shows
Sure.
and stuff. So I will get really deep into a TV show, and then I'll have to watch, like a lot of people. You know, I'll just have to sit at the TV for 8 hours. I'm like, oh, this is what I'm doing now. So the latest one was Electric Dreams on Amazon. I just watched that, and that was amazing.
I don't know that one. I'll have to look it up.
Based on Philip K. Dick stories.
Okay.
Good one, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think our latest binge-worthy one was The Mandalorian on Disney.
Oh yeah, we were religious about that.
It was really good. So.
My son's name is Lucas for a reason.
Oh, there you go. So where do we go to find out more about your art? Do you have a website? Do you have...
Yep, there's erikritter.com,
Okay.
and that will have a page for the artwork, a page for Paint with Erik, where you can sign up for paint classes and individual classes if you like. And then there's also the music page, which goes under the name P Skunk.
Okay.
You can find P Skunk all over the internet as well, and on iTunes and Spotify and all that.
Nice.
And so we're trying to get this all together. P Skunk's going to be in the art. The art's going to be in P Skunk. Some of the titles of the songs become artwork, things like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so erikritter.com, that's the easiest way.
Facebook page?
Oh yeah, Facebook page,
Okay.
Erik Ritter Art, Instagram,
Okay.
Erik T. Ritter, YouTube. Like I said, the podcast is
Coming up and coming.
Yep, that's coming on Tuesday.
And I wrote down, so Erik is teaching classes for us here as a still life drawing class on April 18th and 25th. There's 2 sessions. There is a de-junk class on May 12th where you learn how to use recycled materials
Just
to
like
be able
this.
to create. There's a tulip painting class on March 24th, kind of get us all ready for spring.
Yeah, it's going to be tulips and flowers.
Tulips and
so
flowers.
You can do whatever you want and make the colors whatever you want.
There you go. And then there's a May the 4th class. So in honor of Star Wars Day on May the 4th.
May the 4th be with you.
So if you want to find more information about Erik, you go to erikritter.com.
Erik with a K, the more Nordic masculine spelling.
And we will list all of his information up on this post here. And if you want to look at his classes, head to the BrookingSArtsCouncil.org. And we will make sure we have those tagged with your name on them. Thanks for
Awesome.
joining me today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I just want to say you're doing a great job as well.
Oh, thank you. Thanks so much. It's really easy to do a great job when we have a great community here. So,
Yeah, Brookings is all right.
yeah. Thanks.